A very good morning to you, you crafty lot. I got a very special guest here today, my little Christopher. When I set up that I'm going to do Kumihimo, he said he's really interested and would like to learn it. He's never ever done Kumihimo before, so let's see how he's going to get on. So I thought he could do one of the braided ones. If I bring this up to you. I thought he was going to do like maybe a navy blue and a lighter blue for himself, but when he's seen this, we got this very lovely ombre color 2mm cord. He really liked it, so he wanted to make a key ring with that one, so we're going to set him up to do that. I'm going to show you how to do Kumihimo with the beads. There is many lovely samples here to show you off, and you can do in any sort of color. You can do it with pearls and crystals, or you can just do it with crystals. What I like to do is when I do Kumihimo bracelets, I set it up and I put more than one color, so I put two color on the same string and just keep braiding, sort of set it on the sofa and keep braiding, do a little bit in between my colors, so that's where I'm going to secure the ends and cut them and glue them on, and sort of just be away with it. That's sort of an evening's lot of work there to do 3 different colors. So that's all. There's another one here. This is only crystals. I love doing these because they're ever so simple and they give you such a lovely effect. Now the stringing material you use for when we do beads, I use a invisible thread, which it's like a fishing line sort of material, and there is a few different thicknesses. So if you use the thicker one, it gives you more of a rigid finish. If you use the thinner one, then it's going to be more of a fluid finish. But let's get started. So Mary's here. Hi Mary. I see he said morning Kitty and Christopher. Alison saying morning Kitty and Christopher. Good morning to you. I hope you're all okay and all staying safe and entertaining yourself throughout this period, staying at home. I was going to say staycation because we are at home, and now Christopher's would be off of school, so we're going to do crafty bits this week, didn't we decided. So the multicolored material this is 2mm one. And as the colors goes, so what you want to do, you want to marry up the right color with the right color, because otherwise you're just going to have sort of an overall finish. And for a little, let me just show you, we got some beads at the bottom here as well. But for a little key ring or handbag charm, you don't really need much. So probably about 30-40 centimeters of braiding for each strand will be enough. Now when you set up your Kumihimo disc, you set it up with 8 different strands. So we're going to set this up with Christopher. So when you're working with a multicolor, you want to make sure the same colors sort of go in the same place. So I'm going to cut mine just between the 2 green, and then take some more and cut it in the 2 green as well. Actually, I was going to have to do this with 2 colors. Then we knot it on. And again, I'm going to cut it between the 2 greens. And the 2 greens ends. So Kumihimo boards are they come in many different sizes, and actually there's a couple of different shapes. The round one is to do a rounded shape, and the square ones is to do a flat shape. We're going to be doing the round one today. So when I set this up, this is actually going to be 2 colors going down, because for we need to halve as we're knotting it onto the key ring itself. So let's do this one. So can you pop the middle of that board out, Christopher, please? That is just there. We don't really need that one. So to set up to do a key ring, I'm gonna take the key ring, and I'm gonna take I got 4 strands of cords here. I'm going to fold it in half and take the middle through the loop on the keyring, and then I'm just gonna bring the ends through that loop I created, so that gives you a nice secure finish at the end, just sort of a nice little knot. Then we're gonna pop this through the disc itself, so from the other side, just like that, and then we need to set our strands up. So when you're doing Kumihimo, so if I turn it this way, this one is actually quite a simple board because it's only got the numbers on it and your starting points. So I'm gonna set one at the top, sort of a right hand side of number 1, then take another one and put it at the left hand side of number 1. Then I'm going to take another strand and put it the right, and another strand the left hand side of 25, and then keep going around. And I'm going to set it up next to number 17, and then again at number 9. So when you set up your boards, they are twisted, so I just untwist these two. When you set up your boards, loads of different extractions show you sort of different ways to do this, but it's very simple. It's exactly the same thing you do it. So some people call it north, south, east and west. Some people go top, bottom, right and left. But this is how you need to set up your board for the 8 chord Kumihimo. So I'm going to show Christopher what to do here, and then he can be braiding away. Now, if you're doing bracelets, I like to add a little weight, which I have when I set up mine with beads, but I'll talk you through that in a minute, how to do it. That is just there sort of to pull the beading, what you're doing down. It doesn't have to be a proper weight. It can be your car keys. It can be anything what you have at home. Just to sort of give it a little weight. But once you start to braiding and do some, don't forget the braiding is going to have some weight as well, and that's going to pull it nicely down as well. So how to do Kumihimo. So if I show you first, and I'm going to show Christopher, and we can sort of create a little keyring, and we will finish it off because it doesn't take too long. Let me just see all your lovely texts as well. Oh, I see there's quite a lot of you. So, hi Anna, good morning. Good morning, Lucinda. Good morning, Bernie. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Elaine. Good morning, Chris. Camille saying good morning. My grandkids would love them. I think, Camille, yes, they would, because it's such an easy thing to do. And it's again, like, you know, like you're at home now, but you really need to entertain them with something. So do share this video, perhaps send it in a messenger, or, you know, you can share it on your Facebook as well. Send it to their mum so they can, and like, you know, Kumihimo boards are like really cheap, like from 99p. The cords again from £1-2, and you can create something sort of with them and keep them entertained for a little bit, and it's saying good morning to you, Annette, as well. So without further ado, what we need to do, we're going to move around the board. So it doesn't matter actually if you move clockwise or if you move anti-clockwise, as long as you keep to the same all the time. So what we're going to be doing, we're taking the top cord from the right, and we're going to take it down to the left at the bottom. Then we're taking the right at the bottom and take it to the top left. So we just crossed it over and then turn, and we're going to repeat. We're going to do the same thing. And then we're going to turn it again. So now, because I'm crossing these cords in the middle, you're going to have a slightly different weave on it. And sort of just keep going around. Right, so top to bottom, bottom to top, turn, top to bottom, And then I'm sorry trying to hold it to you this so I can show it to you as well. And bottom to top. So Christopher, you think we're able to continue? Yeah. So top to bottom, bottom to top, and then turn. Top to bottom, bottom to top, and then turn. So now, like as you're crossing the middle over, not the other side. So do the right side first. To the, no, there, sweetheart. Yeah. And this one goes up. No, here, sweetheart.
And then turn.
Turn, yeah. Top first, no, the other side first, sweetheart. Yeah. He's doing it. Now here, sweetheart. That's it. Okay. And then turn. Other side. So keep the left to the left and right to the right. And turn. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
No, there, that's it. So, to do the beaded ones, what you need to do is to load your beads onto a piece of strand or thread or cord or anything you use before you start weaving. And you set it up the same way, so you got 8 cords. When you do the beading ones, so you want to do, if you, depending on what pattern you want to do. So for example, this bracelet I got here, which has actually got sort of a white pearl there, and then a crystal and a pearl in the second row, so sort of giving it like a spotty finish. This is set up, it's all in the instructions in the free download PDF how to set up to do different patterns. Do pop onto our website and it will show you the diagram, which color you have to put where, or if you want to do like just a double color one, again you set it up with the 2 pearls gonna go on top or bottom, and then 2 crystals are gonna go to the side as well, but it's all in the instructions. So to do a beaded one, I'm gonna bring this camera in a little bit and turn it down so you can see it better. Yeah. So to do a beaded one, we need to trap the beads in the middle underneath our cords. So, pull this back up. My next one was gonna be coming from the top. See, I often use this side of the board to turn it around because I don't want to get distracted by the numbers. So I just use it, you're doing the same thing, so you're going around, you know what you're doing. So to do a beaded one, you're going to take your strand, you're going to take a bead from the bottom, let it come all the way to the top, and we're going to tuck it underneath the string which is crossing, and then take it down. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to take a bead and bring this right up. Tuck it under there. And then bring it down. Then I turn it as you would normally, and you repeat it. So you're doing the same motion, top to bottom, bottom to top, turn all the way around. Just this time you're adding the little beads. Just like that. So I'm letting one drop down. I'm going to tuck it right under that cord and then pull it down. And I'm taking the bottom one, letting one come up, tuck it right under and take it to the top. So I just knotted a little knot to the end of my strand so the beads don't fall off, and that's there to it. There is some bobbin savers or other sort of gadgets that you can use as well, which is help you, but I guess a little knot will do. So I'm pulling the next one. If I just do a few more rounds, and then you can see how the pattern is forming underneath it. So how have you all been? Has everybody been keeping busy? I've seen that on our group on Facebook we have a Totally Handmade by Totally Beads group where you have loads of you joined and showing us loads of pictures, what you've been making, what you've been doing, and it's so great that I feel so pleased that when we do these Facebook Lives and after that you post pictures of your makes, it's just really great to see that you inspire people, I guess. I'm just taking another one down and then pull it down. So let me go back and see all your lovely comments. And it's saying, good morning. Peter is watching. Hi, Peter. He's saying, smile, Chris. So Peter is Christopher's granddad, my husband's dad. So hi, Pete. I think Christopher is really concentrating because when he's concentrating, you see the tongue come out and that. And I can see he's really concentrating there. Vanessa's saying good morning. Natalie's saying good morning. Vanessa's asking, how do we get the circle of this you are using, Kitty? So we sell some of them on Totally Beads website. They are pennies really. So the only thing I can recommend with them, so if you're going to set up and use one with cords, then you always use that with cords. And if you're going to set up and use one making beads, always use that with beads because the cords are a different size. So this one is 0.5 millimeter what I'm using here, and what Christopher's using is 2 millimeter. And if you're using the thicker cords, it sort of makes the gaps between your slots a little bit bigger. There's a couple of tricks you can do. You can sort of start squeezing your slots together, but in the long term, they're really not expensive. So in the long term, it's just really worth it to use one. You can write it on there to use it with 0.5 millimeter or use it with 2 millimeter or 1 millimeter, whatever cord you're using, and you keep that Kumihimo board for that size. How are you doing, Christopher?
Good.
What's happening here? Right, so let me just get back to Christopher. So what happened here underneath it, as he was braiding, this braid is sort of knotted up. So time to time, what you need to do, you just need to go and free up these ends. And all I'm just doing is sort of pulling my hands down through it and freeing up the ends. Camilla is asking how many beads do you need to thread on to make a bracelet. So usually one strand of 4 millimeter beads. There you go, sweethearts. You can see his braiding is coming through at the bottom. Isn't that lovely? So I'm giving it back to you, Christopher. Carry on. So usually a strand of 4 millimeter pearls or crystals, you have 100 beads. Now for each one of these ends to make a bracelet, which is about 8 inch, I guess, I added 25 beads. So I guess a strand of crystals, a strand of pearl will do you a bracelet. And sizing wise, so if you just want to do macrame ones where the sample's gone like these ones, then as a rule of thumb, it depending of how tight is your weave, but you need the length 3 or 4 times what you want to make. If you're really tight weaver, then do 4 times. If you sort of more of a loose one, then do 3 times the length you want to make. I want to show you this one off because this one was made with Kumihimo as well. I had some leather cord in different colors indoors and I just added on to the Kumihimo board. So just using different materials, I started off by the button. So I've worn this bracelet quite a few times. I started off by the button. I put all my ends through the bottom and I had to tie one on the top because there is only 3 of them fit through there, but you can't really see that when it's knotted. And I did my normal Kumihimo all the way through, and on the other side I just looped the ends and wrapped the end around to give me a nice little sort of loop clasp over there. But I love this bracelet. So using different materials, you can really have different effects and really get creative, or like, you know, sometimes just use maybe 8 cords, but only add beads to one of them to give you sort of sparingly a little bit of sort of sparkle going around. Yeah, Vanessa is saying, what are these called on your website? So they're called Kumihimo discs. Now, the Kumihimo, there's a whole section of Kumihimo because with Kumihimo, you're going to need glue-in clasps as well. So these, because the ends are sit right in those clasps as well. I unfortunately haven't brought home any unused clasp, but there is a hole inside there, and then we would glue the ends in. So if I show you on one of this, which is sort of braided up, what I would do, before I cut this knot off at the end, I would apply a tiny bit of glue to the base here, which is just sort of keeps the cords together, and then trim it. And depending on what clasp I want to use, some of them have sort of, this one's got a larger hole inside it. This one's gonna have a smaller one. So you could get a clasp to fit the right size of cord what you've been using. But what I find when you do something like this, you still want a little bit chunkier cord, because if you use a really thin one, it's not really going to look great on your bracelet. So what I do, I just get some thread or a piece of cord and wrap it around the base. Again, you can wrap it as much as you need to, and sort of every so often just add a tiny bit of glue so it holds it on there nice and tight, and wrap it until you get the right size. So see this one actually, you can see I wrapped it around there. Just bring it up a bit. You can see the cord. I think this is one of the first pieces I made with this clasp, but obviously my cords at the end, they weren't thick enough to go in, and I just wrapped a little cord around there, but you can't really see that. How are we doing, Christopher?
Good.
He's really away with it. Let me just show you. I'm just sitting there. Put your tongue away, lovely. So that's really growing, and because we had the two colour in there, you're going to have like a nice little speckle finish. So carry on. Do maybe just a tiny bit more, half an inch more, just to get that lovely blue colours in there. Julie's saying, morning Kitty and Christopher, I used to love doing Kumihimo and now have inspired me to get boards out again. Yes, please do. It's such a lovely craft. If you got children, just making little key rings, maybe you could make it for your neighbours or your family, or, you know, send it somebody a little sort of crafty goodness in the morning, and it keeps them busy, really. Lynn saying, morning. Kevin Sealing, thank you for answering, Kitty. You're very, very welcome. So the materials I do use most of the time is pearls and crystals, invisible thread. There is an array of 1mm rat tail, which is perfect for Kumihimo as well. It will make you a thinner braid, so it's probably gonna be, this is 1 mil, so it's probably gonna be this size, which is about 4 or 5mm, against this is 2 mil, so you can see the difference in the thickness. And if I put a 4mm pearl and crystal version as well next to it, so you can see the 3 different thicknesses that what they make. But you can do like, so if you got nice pendants you want to wear, you can make a nice necklace just with the rat tail cords. I mean, you can do 2 different colors next to each other, or even more. A multicolor works quite nice as well. Like we got the end of these, I think this is 4 different colors in there, in each one of those, and just give you such a lovely weave. Paula is saying good morning, lovely. So yeah, how are we doing, Christopher? I need to do a couple more so I can show you this pattern here. Now the good thing about Kumihimo, that if you have to stop, if the doorbell rings, or you know want to go and make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, what I usually do, I do half a step. So as you got your 4 cords on a 4 side, before I want to go off, I'm going to bring a bead up and take it down, tuck it under, just like that, and bring my cord down. So I'm going to leave my, if I have to go off, I hope you can see it, I'm going to leave my board like this. So I got 3 cords at the bottom, 3 cords at the top, 1 at the bottom, and 2 either side, because when I come back to this, I know this cord has to go up. So that's my next step, and I don't have to sort of sit there and try to work out what's my next step. So that's quite a handy tip for you as well. How are we doing, sweetheart?
Good.
You're really enjoying this, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
So Christopher is 9. I think that will be long enough for now, because don't forget we need length if you want to add any decoration or wooden bit to it. So when you take your braiding off, you're just I'm gonna pull this down and hold right in the middle and take these off the board. So I'm with my thumb and index finger, I'm holding the braid together, and then I'm going to take this braid. So if I wanted to do this as a necklace, I would wrap this around with a little piece of thread just to hold it temporarily until I sort the ends out. But because this is going to be a key ring, I'm just going to do an overhand knot at the end, just like that, and pull this up tight. And that's it. So this one became actually quite a bit longer, didn't it? What we wanted to. We do another one. So don't forget, with Kumihimo braiding, when you do your braidings and take it off the board, and it does stretch out a little bit. So when you're sizing your things up, be aware that the size can change. So we're going to trim this ends later on to a size. And do you have a bead to put on there? So Christopher's got this lovely bead, little cat to put on there, so he's going to put that on there, and maybe we choose a few other ones just to have, you know, but you can just put one large wooden bead on there. It was entirely your design, what you want to do. So that's it really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you happy with it? Will you make another one? Yeah. You'll make a different colour? Yeah. Bless you, my lovely. So you're going to write on there, this is 2mm one, yeah? So keep it nice and safe, so we know what cord we're using with that disc. So that's it for us from today. I really like that you're joining us and all making. Please share the video, post some pictures, and you know, 2mm. Yeah, that's very good. Into the group so you can see what you're making. I can't wait what sort of, or even if you have stuff at home, what you already made, just send us some pictures, and just for everybody to see, inspire everybody. And don't forget, you can do this with your children, because you know, Christopher is 9 and he never ever done Kumihimo in his life, but you enjoyed it, didn't you, lovely?
Yeah. Yeah,
you did. So I'm trying to think a few other projects to inspire you, what you can do with children or grandchildren, perhaps if you're living in the same household, or you can send the video to them so they can make it themselves with their mum. Something to keep them busy and get them crafting, teach them some new techniques as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm doing square stitch. I'm going to bring the samples in because we moved from the office to the dining room, so we got a bit more room on the table for us to create and craft. He's even put his name on it. So that's it. I lost this now. This is Christopher's. I mean, you can see it back to front, but yes, that's it. I think it's going into your room. It's going to disappear in your chest, isn't it? Yeah. Bless him. So tomorrow I'm doing square stitch, and I'm going to embellish the top of the square stitch a little bit, and yeah, that's it. So enjoy your day, everybody. Stay safe. I hope everyone's okay, and we will see you tomorrow. Elaine's saying thank you. Well done, Christopher. Yes, very well done, Christopher. That was the first ever piece of Kumihimo he made, and I'm really proud of him. I think it looks really good. He's got a really nice tension going on there. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.